peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
Hello, my name's Ruben. We're here in Fo'reallNews talking about black issues in society. We're now here protesting for George Floyd, who died. But there are many topics that stem from it as well. So it's about social injustice, inequality, systematic racism, institutional racism in the UK. We're now here, so how do you feel about today?
I think the best way to describe today is hopeful. We're kind of at the last protest that's been organized this week, and to see such a great turnout, everyone's still peaceful, everyone is still encouraging, and it's such a mixed demographic as well. To see white people, black people of all races coming together.
Quite emotional actually, because I haven't been able to come to the previous ones, but as soon as I got here, I just seeing everyone kind of just made me, it's really hit home, yeah.
I think what we're doing right now is very important because it's something. Like, I feel like with action, when people see that we're actually doing something actively, it causes a reaction. Yes. So I feel like we need to take more steps, like not just talk, do something, like make movements, and stuff like this will grab people's attention and it will cause a change.
Yeah, it's good. It's been like a really massive turnout and really young as well, which is nice to see so many young people out.
I'm sick and tired of anyone being abused because of the colour of their skin.
Yes.
It can't go on any longer. We live in a civilised democracy. Britain is Black Britain. Without Black Britain culture, we have no culture.
Thank you.
So that's why I'm here. I'm a photojournalist, but I think it's important. I'm glad everyone's come out. I'm glad everyone's respecting it.
It means equality, man. You know what I mean? We're just out here trying to fight for equality. We just want the discrimination to stop. And we want fairness, you know? We're sick and tired of being discriminated, our women's hair, you know, our skin color and all that shit.
Well, first of all, I just want to say my name's Lee Lawrence, right? I'm the son of Cherry Gross. My mum was shot back in 1985 in Brixton, which caused the 1985 Brixton uprisings, for those who may not know. And it's very important for people to come together like this, because if people didn't rise up when that happened with us, then we would have never got the acknowledgement that we ended up getting in the end, right? And it took us 31 years to get acknowledgement for the injustice that happened to my mum, right? So today I'm representing, as we can see, there's no thugs out here, there's no hooligans, which they like to put out there. It's a nice peaceful march. It's nice to see people coming together in unity, and that's the only way we're going to change things, is together, united. In terms of what I want to see change, we want to see the end of racism, and we want to see the end of police brutality, and that's it, full stop.
So it's a matter of fact of people actually opening their eyes and actually admitting it, and having empathy in terms of what's happening?
Have an understanding of what racism is.
Okay. So where do...
Some people don't think they're racist, but the way you speak and the way you move around people that are black is racist.
Okay.
Yeah?
So people basically have to watch in terms of the way they speak to people, as well as ignorance, you can say as well?
Uneducated people. Too many uneducated people. They don't want to learn. No one wants to learn. They just don't, they won't.
So people do not want to learn. So does that mean that there's a problem in the education system then?
Yes, 100%.
So this is also an education issue, which doesn't just start from school, but also at homes as well. Why is it important to start from home?
Because racism is taught at home, not at school.
It starts from, it starts from home.
Okay, so are you saying this is also a governmental problem?
I mean, if you think about all the different issues, there's so many different variants to the struggle with BAME from BME backgrounds, you know, black trans lives, all kinds of different things. I saw on the first day, black women mortality rates in hospital are twice of that of white women. These are problems. These are systematic problems. We don't change our system, we're fucked.
First of all, I think the government should recognize the fact that there is systematic racism, that it does exist. That's first ownership of the problem. I think that's once you get that out of the way and you own that, then you could work towards eliminating that problem and how you could break down systematic racism. So first of all, it's more than just saying, yeah, I believe that Black Lives Matter. That's easy to say, that's easy to hashtag, that's easy to like, that's easy to share. But what are you actually gonna do practically? First of all, own that there is systematic racism which exists within your establishment, within the government, and then you could work with black leaders and future black representatives and anybody else to actually break that down. It doesn't even have to be a black person. As long as you recognize that's the issue, then we can move on from there.
We need to stand together. I think that's the best way to deal with it. They're afraid of us when we're all standing together, and the more we speak up, I think someone will hear us. We have to keep speaking up, honestly.
Initially, what needs to happen, everyone needs to realise that black people deserve to be treated as human beings. Once we have that as the basis and start educating people and implementing policies and also various ways of looking at how we can empower black people to also live on their own, do their own thing, I think we'll start making movements on that. But in terms of, there's no one answer. It has to be a multifaceted approach. So we need to teach, educate, empower, and also support.
We need to tackle racism in the UK, and we can't ignore the fact that this has been raised by an issue that first came from the US, but it doesn't change the fact that it exists here, it exists in systemic racism, it exists in the ways that you can't see, it exists in the whole system that's been built to hold us back. And that's what this protest is for, is our voices matter, our lives matter. So,
you know, a black man can't drive a nice car because he's got to be a drug dealer. He can't own like a business. He can't have a job. Every time I walk out my house, jump in my Range Rover, everybody reckons I'm a drug dealer. You know what I mean?
So he's tackling the stereotypes that black people can't achieve, black people can't obtain certain resources, whilst we can, or either not, we're either a drug dealer or a criminal, which needs to stop. Okay, so what I've seen is that you've used the word thugs, because what has happened that Donald Trump did a tweet where he said thugs. Do you think it was directly aimed at black people?
Of course. Well, it's definitely aimed at us, and it's definitely aimed at the protesters today. And it was to put people off, and it's to send that same narrative that they always send out, right? That we're just out here as thugs, rioting, looting, when we're really out here standing up for our rights. And in the same way, they applaud the NHS for being on the front line saving lives. They need to applaud the people out here, because we're out here trying to save future black lives.
It just means like how we feel, kind of the anger towards racism. I'm of a mixed race, and I do feel like racist people should be outed and kind of told about themselves in a way. And then R.I.P. Khalif, obviously his story is very powerful. He was sent to prison without actually doing anything, and then ended up killing himself due to mental health issues with it all, and being treated in the justice system. And it's just a sad story that needs to be shown, really.
Like, that's what we're hoping for. That's why we're out here in the rain, and we're protesting and we're chanting, because we want to change. Like, because what's been going on has hurt a lot of people, and like we're in mourning, we're hurt because we've seen it on video, and we're tired of it. And I think like this is like the breaking point. Even though like there's still corona and all of that stuff, everyone's got their mask out, and people are, like, they're keeping safe and they're keeping them to themselves. But I feel like we have to make that movement. Like, regardless of what's going on, we have to say that there has to be a change.
Mine, it's just blatantly obvious that, you know, there is white privilege around and some people can't see it. So I just want to make it known that certain people can see it and we're not standing for it no more.
I can see that you're here today and it says justice for Belly Mujinga. This actually comes personal to heart because Belly Mujinga is actually from the Democratic Republic of Congo. So that's where I'm also from as well. And to actually see people from different cultures actually fighting for justice, it's amazing. So what are your thoughts about this?
Well, I think the UK is deeply complicit with the creation and survival of racism worldwide, and that the police must be abolished and the white supremacist state must be destroyed. And justice must be given to everyone who has been murdered under this incredibly unjust regime.
It takes everybody coming together for us to actually make a change. If it's just black people saying it, everyone can dismiss it. But when you see people from all walks of life, young, old, white, black, Asian, you know, they're coming together, it shows that we really need to do something. It's time for a change. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. It's not just a black people's problem. We need unity. We need people to come and discuss about black issues, about black problems, because this shouldn't just be a discussion that is about with black people, but it should be spoken with white people and from people from different races.